Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, whatever place it is that you tuned on to the live Signatures Radio. It is February, the time that I'm recording this, 2024, and I always tell you guys, it's gone. The year is gone. It is gone. Yeah, by the time you just cross Valentine's Day, you're looking at April. You're looking at April, March. You're looking at what? You're looking at Easter. And then you're looking at Ramadan, you're looking at half the year. Before you know it, you're looking for August, and it's gone. It's gone before you can know it. You're still telling me Happy New Year? Shut up. The year is going to go. The year is already gone. Anyway, these episodes are always going to be about purpose, productivity, and resilience. And you found us in the middle of a series. We're talking about work. And we're talking about the reasons why some people do not work, especially at work. We're going to continue doing that today, so stay tuned.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
Let us start by doing a recap. There are different reasons why people do not work. And of course, I've been telling you, if you're listening for the very first time, it's been a very long marathon. We've been talking about the subject of work, and we've been talking about very many different things about it. We started by talking about the essence of work itself, talking about things like we rule through our work, things like it's a blessing to work, it's not a curse to work. We've looked at work from very many different angles. And now the latest angle that we're tackling is why people do not work. Reasons why people do not work. And let me just give you a recap. Number one reason, people don't work because they're distracted. I don't want to talk about that again because it's a big one. You can go back about 3 or 4 episodes back and just listen to that. Secondly, people do not work because they are indisciplined, right? They don't plan, they don't have an agenda, they just show up. It's just their body showing up. Their spirit is not there, their organization is not there, they are indisciplined, and they end up not working, and they end up drawing a salary, especially those guys in the government. But let me not go there. Third, people do not work because they procrastinate, especially on the big, hard, tough, laborious, uncomfortable decisions and actions that they're supposed to take. Yeah? And they procrastinate. They say, I'm going to do it next week. Something that should have been done last week is going to be done next week because it's laborious, it's difficult to do, it's uncomfortable. You don't want to face it. And we talked about this, that you've got to use the analogy of Brian Tracy. In his book, Eat That Frog, he says you need to start with the most ugliest thing to do, the most arduous thing to do. Because once that is done, you can go the rest of the day knowing that you've gone through the worst. Now the day can bring on whatever day wants to bring on. Okay, the fourth reason why people don't work is because they have this culture of jobs. They do not work because they are tied in the culture of jobs. What does the culture of jobs do? The culture of jobs says, unless you pay me, I ain't working. And now that there's nobody to pay you, you ain't working, but there's work. It's just that you don't want to You don't want to work because nobody's going to pay, but there is work. You can slash outside there, you can dig, you can clean the trenches, you can pick up the rubbish, you can clean someone's car, right? But you ain't going to do that because I am a graduate. I cannot photocopy. Don't give me menial jobs. I am a graduate. I went to school. That's the mentality that is making people not to work. It's a very stupid mentality when you come to think about it. Today, let's talk about the fifth. The fifth reason why people don't work is purposelessness. Let me say this. So far, the several reasons why people do not work have been tied to things that are within their control. In other words, to work as we are supposed to, we must make a conscious choice, conscious decision, conscious intention. Take our intention and work. But in today's episode, we shall cover two more. We shall cover this and see why people do not work. We need to remember that our working definition of work is to bring our all and get lost in doing what we have been called to do. That's our working definition for work. Bring our all on the table. Get lost in it as we do it. Now, purposelessness. This might look like it's straightforward. The reason why people are not engaged is the key. Why people are not engaged at work is that they are doing what seems to be to them a punishment. Those especially who come from the groupthink and the mentality that work is a curse. Adam ate the fruit and God cursed work. Right? Adam was working before he ate the fruit and whatever it is. Just read your Bible. If that's the excuse you're going to use, please don't be an ignorant person. Go and read the Bible. Work was there. It was a command. Be fruitful. How are you going to be fruitful without working? Be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth. How are you going to do that without working? And some of you think that be fruitful, multiply is having sex and having babies. No. I mean, having sex and having babies, you don't need a command for it, ladies and gentlemen. The body has already been given the urges and all the gadgets are already there. You don't need a command to be fruitful that way. Okay? And I'm not disrespecting anyone in this one. But work was there. Now, when you lack purpose, when you have the mentality that your work is a punishment, you will look for very many avenues not to work. I see very many people, as in, they are so strict with their lunch hour. I'm not going to work. I'm not going to work. It's lunch hour. It's break. We need holiday. It's a holiday. When there is something that you can put your hands on for a season, forgetting about the holidays for a season so that a project can be accomplished and you move on. It's because people don't have this element of purpose in their work. You see, if you're working in your father's house, there is an element of purpose in there. If you know that this is my posterity, but now that you think you're working for your boss and you're working for your boss, that's what you do. You work for your boss. You don't work because it's your calling, it's your purpose. And therefore you won't work as you're supposed to be working in the first place. The reason why people are not engaged at work is that they are doing that which seems to be a punishment to them. In fact, some people are in that survival mode. They have to do what they have to do in order to pay bills. And there's nothing wrong. But second, some people are on the path of purpose. They are simply starting off and it might be sticking to them. They might get stuck on some level on their way of knowing their purpose. But work is the constant, the work is the common denominator there. Third, there's some people who are already, as previously discussed, are already steeped into their culture of jobs. They are engaged at some kind of work, but they are not necessarily loving what they are doing. That is why productivity is so low. Studies show that 68%, averagely 68% of our workforce worldwide is disinterested or disengaged. Why is that? And I see you human resource practitioners taking people for, what do they call it? Team building. People go and jump hoop, they pour water on each other, they run around with shooting guns, water guns at each other. And then you think that they're going to come back after that weekend. They're going to come back and get engaged at work. Just because they ran hoops and they ate meat and they drank some beer and they had some fun and they had a boat ride. You think that that's going to solve? No, people lack purpose. And you need to solve that problem from the moment you're recruiting people. You need to identify people for purpose, not for competence and skills. You can always train those. But attitude in terms of their purpose. Am I called to do this? Do I have a passion for this? Am I seeing myself in this for the long haul? That's where the problem is. And people will be disengaged. They will be disinterested. 68% of your workforce because they lack purpose. So you need to employ me or consult with me and I help you as far as instilling purpose in them is concerned. It is two things. One, acute, and two, chronic. Acute in that you get rid of the people who are purposeless immediately. And chronic, you start cultivating the atmosphere of purpose right from before recruitment so that you're attracting the right people. Anyway, I'm not going to give you free consultation on this episode. I know it sounds motivational and you can easily throw it out of the window. Well, you might not necessarily find out what you love from the get-go, but at least you can join the path of those who are seeking purpose. And along the way, that's the chronic, along the way, if you find your purpose, two things will happen. Number one, you either quit the job you're doing because it doesn't fit into your purpose, or you quit the organization, or number two, you stay in the organization and look to deploy the tasks that align to your purpose. Don't be stuck doing something you hate because you're going to be paid for it at the end of the month. Don't look for work only to get paid in monetary terms. Look for work to get paid both monetary and psychic. Psychic means you've got purpose. In other words, you can even work for free. They cannot pay you enough for the fulfillment you feel for the work that you're doing. So people, number 5, people do not work because they lack purpose. They have not found out what is good for them in life, where they can thrive, what they are passionate about, and that's why they just click on the mouse just for the sake of clicking. They clock in just for the sake of clocking. They cannot bring anything positive into the organization. They cannot use their minds to recommend. They cannot use their brain to solve a sticking problem that has been in the organization for years on end. It should be that when you appear in that organization, you obliterate problems along the path that you found, historical and future problems and present problems, because you showed up. And how is it gonna happen? It's gonna happen because you love what you're doing, you're passionate about it. It's your purpose. You've got purpose in your work. Tomorrow we will continue talking about this. Let me stop getting worked up. But until then, thank you so much for staying tuned, and bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.